Okay, folks, so we are going to give a try to do, like I said, I was going to walk you through how to set up a cruise using Plothound again. Okay, kind of a refresher on that. I've done some of the stuff for you, created some of the merchantable specs that you could modify, and then you can use them the way they are, or you could use them with your modifications. So first thing we got to do is get out to Plothound. Okay, so basically you just look for Plothound. Once you start typing it in, hopefully you'll see Sylvia Terra. So you go ahead and log in once you get there. The login, I'm going to go ahead and log out just so that you can see what the login is. I've got 10 accounts with them. They're all exactly the same except for the number right here. Okay, so they're all JAJEUCK plus sign account and then 1 through 10 at haywood.edu. Okay, so it goes all the way across like that, right? Just remember which account you've created your cruises in, because that's the one when you're on your phone in the woods. That is the same account that you're going to have to log into. Okay, so password is temp123, TEMP123. It's the same password for all 10 accounts. Okay. So when you log in, it basically shows you what your stats were for the past 30 days. Really not been very active. You could take a look at what cruises and what stands have been created. So far, I went ahead and deleted all the old stands off of there. And the only one left on there is this Fowler East. The thing that you need to do when you're creating a stand and a cruise, you need to make sure that you are naming that somehow with your name on it, okay? And preferably a date as well, so that everybody's aware of who this file was created by and around what time it was. Okay, so you'll see me do that in just a minute for this mock timber cruise I'm going to be doing. Okay, so the first thing that you do is you actually need to upload a stand. Okay, so I clicked on upload stand, and again you could choose a shape file or a KML file or a KMZ file. Right, this is one that we did for the Fowler, those 6 stands that we created last fall, and they all are in one file, but when you pull them in, it actually treats them as 6 separate stands, okay, which is kind of cool. So stands 1 through 6, I'm going to hit upload, and there they are. And so as I move around through here, it shows me which stand is which. All right, so I'm only going to concern myself with these 3 larger ones here, okay? So 6, that's 6, really? 5 and 4. Doesn't make sense. Stand 1. 5 and 6. Okay, so I'm just going to keep stand 1. Well, I could delete the other ones later. Okay, so basically I'm just going to call this, put my initials on it. Stand 1. I'm just going to call it stand 1. And it's going to be, let's see, 2, 10, 19. I'm actually going to select all that and copy it. So all I have to do is for my other ones, just paste it in and then just change the stand number. I'm going to make this stand 2. And then I'm going to make this one stand 3. All right. Hit submit. It created them. And what it's saying is that it did not create a cruise automatically. We would have to go ahead and set those, okay? So if I don't want these ones anymore, let's just say I have some stuff that I don't want, I just open it up and hit delete stand. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that just to kind of clean things up. When you get back into, it'll throw you back into this screen. What you need to do is click on cruises and stands again, and you open that. I'm just going to keep deleting these things. All right, and cruise stands one more time. All right. So there's the 3 stands that I'm going to work on. And notice that each one of it says I can create a new cruise for them. But before I create a new cruise, what I want to do is make sure that the merchantable specs I'm going to use are correct, okay? And here are some pre-made merchantable specs. These are the ones that we've already done in the past. I've gone ahead and created one for you. Now, it's only found, this one's only found in the account number 1. Okay, I didn't load this on all the accounts, so that's an issue right there. So this may be a reason why you want to just log into account number 1. But this Forestry 271 Western North Carolina specs works for just about everything in the Western North Carolina. And I've grouped things really nicely with this too. So this should actually be pretty useful for you. But what you should do, I'm going to make one quick change here. And what was that? Oh yeah. Give me just a second. I want to put sugar maple in there. And save it. Okay, so all right, so what you want to do before you do anything is you probably want to make a copy of this. So before you go screwing up the one that I've made, you want to go ahead and make a copy of it. So do copy merch specs. It's going to ask you for a new name. All right. Where? Oh, right here. Create copy with name. I'm going to call this Yoik, Western North Carolina, copy. Just so there's no confusion. All right. So notice it named it Yoik, Western North Carolina copy. And so what it's asking you is this should we be looking at East Coast or West Coast species? East Coast, okay. Make sure that the merchandise topwood is checked and that it checks dimensions. So that therefore if you try to enter a 4-inch tree as pulpwood, it's not going to accept it because you set some dimension rules on it, okay? So what I've done is I've created select white oak, select red oak, select yellow poplar, and other select hardwoods. I'm going to open up the advanced options so that you can see a little bit more detail into each of these. That each one of these I've grouped into something called select saw timber. Okay, so when it goes to do the summaries of all this, it's going to show a group called select saw timber, and within that group it's going to show the select white oak, the select red oak, the select yellow poplar, and the select other hardwoods. Only put the cream of the crop stuff that you see in there. You're putting some really high value logs into that. Okay, so stuff with very, very little blemishes on the stems, good form, okay, very little rot inside them, those sorts of things, okay. For select white oak, the species I've chosen are just, you have to click on the white oaks and see. I've selected white oak and chestnut oak and post oak. Okay, so those are the 3 species that are in there. So if you and I made them Doyle, 10-inch minimum. The maximum, I think that this software will accept at this point is about 42 inches. So if you go over 40, if you measure something that's larger than 42 inches, make it 42 inches. Unfortunately, that's a problem with this software. Okay, I don't know if they fixed it or not yet, but it won't include that data if you go over. You'll treat it as an error. I've chosen form class 78 for all the oaks. And I gave it the white oak I've given a higher price than the red oaks. Okay, and assuming the markets are better for it. Yellow poplar gave form class 80. Still selling it in Doyle. It's getting about $291 1,000 board feet. Thing that I want you to notice is I'm not selecting pulp or top wood product. Even though I want top wood, what I'm saying is this is not a top wood product. I'm going to have top wood products down below. Basically, when I select and I enter a select red oak into the data set, it's going to account for top wood products, but it's not going to stick it here. It's going to stick it in the top wood product section that I've created below. Okay, which is really nice. So after the select, so all the other select hardwoods. Oh, that's interesting. The other select hardwoods, I've selected anything else besides red oaks, white oaks, and so the black walnut, basswood is in there, a couple of ashes, okay? So those sorts of things. I stuck some high quality other types of timber in there. And if you're doing it and you don't see sugar maple in there, make sure you go in there and select sugar maple. Okay, but I've only got 6 species in that group there. And then I threw all the other hardwoods in the non-select hardwood saw timber. Okay. Oaks should be included in there as well. If they're not, yes, yeah, put everything, basically, all the oaks. So everything is checked off on the main checklist. So, so if you find a northern red oak that's kind of crappy, you can stick it in this one here, okay? White pine, I've created its own white pine. So that's under just non-select saw timber, okay? So it's under its own little group. All right, and then white pine, I've made a group for the pines called, come on you, pine saw timber. So you got white pine saw timber and you got yellow pine saw timber. For the white pine, I've only selected white pine, obviously. I'm doing that on Scribner, and it's 150 per 1,000 board feet. And the yellow pine saw timber, it's also on Scribner, and it's the same value. I put 3 species in that, loblolly and shortleaf pines, and probably Virginia pine. Yep, so there's Virginia pine in there. Okay, so, and then I created pulpwood, which is in tons, okay? And anything goes with the hardwood pulpwood, anything goes with the softwood pulpwood. You just make sure that it's hardwood or softwood, okay? And you go to town on it. It doesn't really matter what species you put in there, but you can, okay? Again, these are not topwood products. The topwood products come in later, okay? I've actually created a group called Topwood, okay, and they're actually in their own little group. Pulpwood's in their own little group. Pulpwood, okay. So I got hardwoods topwood and softwood topwood, and again, it's just whatever species you want to put in there. Basically, if I've got a northern red oak selected above, it's going to calculate the topwood for it, and if it's saw timber or pulpwood, it's going to calculate the topwood for either one of those and stick those results in here. Okay, I've made the price similar to pulpwood. I probably shouldn't have. It's probably more closer to $5 or $6 per ton, but let's just leave it like that. Okay. So if you want to make changes in this, by all means do so, but make sure you create your own copy first. Don't do it afterwards. First thing you do is you make your own copy, save it with your name, and then you are ready to go. Okay. So I'm going to hit save, and there is my cruise specs. Okay, my merchantable specs. So that's ready to go. So if I go back to my stands now, what I'm going to do is create a new cruise for it. So I click on stand 1, click on create a new cruise, and you pretty much set this up the same way as you would. What it does is it says, okay, for Western North Carolina, there's a lot of variability in the sizes of stems and species mix and stuff like that. So if you're trying to get like a 1% or 10% error in your volume estimates, then you probably need to put in 33 plots for that stand. That's what this is all about. Okay, it's using all this information to give you a recommended number of plots. We're not doing a full-blown timber cruise where we want to get 10% error. We're more happy with somewhere between 10 and 20%, which significantly reduces the number of plots that you need. So we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to say, okay, for this stand, I think that was 25 acres, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to do about maybe eight plots, okay, out there. So we'll get to that in just a minute. The grid type I want to be hexagonal. It could be square, rectangular, or just randomly placed plots. I'm just going to have them put it on the hexagonal grid, okay? And I'm going to make sure that none of the plots are any closer than 66 feet to the edge. That way I know of the edge of the stand, okay? That way they are going to be inside the stand and not these, edge plots, okay? Always make sure, and I would suggest you do that, or you could even use 100 feet, okay? You could change that to 100 feet if you want. Doesn't really matter. You leave the cruise protocol set at the default, but you do want to change your sampling method to a 10 BAF because that's going to affect how it calculates your data. If you have that set to 5th acre and you're collecting data using a prism, it's not going to calculate the volumes correctly, okay? So you got to make sure that's using 10 BAF. That's what I suggested you used. And then the merch specs, whatever one you've created, I'm using my my Western North Carolina copy, okay? You have to enter a cruiser name, just select mine, okay? So the thing that's important to remember is you want to check the hexagon, you want to set a distance, inside distance. That's always 10 BAF for what we're doing. You always select your merchantable specs, and you always select me as a cruiser, okay? So I'm going to go to this side now. And even though it's recommending I want 33 plots, I'm only going to do 8 plots in this stand, and I say create grid. There they are. Pretty as a picture, okay? So keeps them fairly spread apart, which is nice, and none of them are any closer than 66 feet to the edge, which is good. So I hit create. Done, okay? So I'm going to go back to my stands again. And I'll do the same thing for stand number 2. First, I'm gonna just take a quick look at it and see how many acres there are in it. 17 acres. I might do about 5 points in that, okay? So I'm going to create a cruise for it. And again, I don't really need to change it, but it's suggesting I do 33 plots in there based on this. Based on that data. Again, I'm going to set this to 66, leave the default, change that to 10 BAF, Change this to my cruise specs. Change that to me. And I say I'm going to do 5 plots. Good. Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. Click OK. That one's done. I'm ready to go to the next. So go back to my stands. And the last one I need to work on is stand number 3. I'm going to open that up. That's 45 acres, so maybe I'll do about 12 points out there. Okay. I want to get that one fairly good, so I'm going to hit Create Cruise. And hexagon, 66 feet. Leave it to default. Change that to 10 BAF. Change this to my specs. Change that to me. And here I'm going to say, let me do 12 points. And they're nicely spread out there. Okay. Sweet, 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 sweet. All right. Hit create. And I got all 3 of my stands. So I'm ready now. I'm done on this side. I'm ready to go out and upload the data onto my phone. Okay, so I hope this is working. We'll see how well it works. I'm trying to cast my phone screen to the computer so we can see what's going on here. So I've uploaded a new version of PlotHound onto my phone, and basically it's going to require me to log in. I've already logged in and downloaded the data, but I'm going to log out just so you can kind of see what's going on. So I log in under JAJEUCK at Haywood. Whoops, sorry. You know the drill. Plus account 1 at haywood.edu. And the temp is, or the password is temp123. The temp password is temp123. So it loads me in. Now, normally, if you load a brand new, fresh version, I would load up the newest version of PlotHound. It's version 6. It would say 0 cruises and 0 plots. Okay. Um, so, but I went ahead and downloaded those three cruises that I created. So it loaded them up. So we see three cruises and 24 plots. It's really simple to do. Once you open up Plot Hound, basically, you would just click on right here where it says Cruise Info. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And what it does is it goes out to the cloud, into my account on the cloud, and it shows the three. It's taking its time. It shows the three stands there. Now notice they're in the downloaded list already, but originally they were in the not downloaded list towards the bottom. And when you click each one, it moves it from the not downloaded to the downloaded list. Okay, so it loads them all up. I'm going to hit the back arrow. That's how you kind of back your way out through most of the stuff here. And I can view the cruise list now by hitting the green button. And so there's the three stands. Okay. So what's kind of cool is I could do a map of all three of the stands. So I hit map on the right-hand side. There they all are. And I can hit cruises on the left side. And I can open up each cruise from this spot. Okay. So basically, if I hit cruise number 1, it opens that up for me. And when I'm ready to, and as I'm navigating out there in the field, it'll show me where I am. Okay. I'm not navigating right now because I'm indoors, and I'm not even close to where those pots are. But as I get closer to it, it will show them to me. Now, the thing that's important to remember is in order for this backdrop map to work, everything, you have to have cell phone access. Okay. So if you know that you're going to be working in a certain area, and you know that you're not going to get good cell phone access, a trick that I always do is I open up Plot Hound, I open up the map to where I'm going to be, I zoom in on it, even though my cursor is not showing me, my cursor, the GPS cursor is showing me miles away. If I zoom in on that area and then just leave it on, even when I lose lock on the satellite, it'll still have captured that last image on there. I won't be able to zoom in and zoom out really well, but at least I'll be able to see where I am on that image. So that's a good little tip and trick there for making Plot Hound work for you. The GPS coordinate, it'll always show you where those points are. All right, your relationship to those points, because it's stored them as GPS points, but you won't be able to see the backdrop. All right, it's nice to be able to see the backdrop, especially if there's lots of cliffs nearby, right? So anyway, so once I get to, let's say I do navigate to point number 4, I go ahead and I open it up just by clicking on 4. All right, and one thing that it does do is it tells me how far I am from it, what my GPS error is, what the plot location is, and what my location is. If I want to go ahead and save my current location and just kind of move 4 to where I'm standing, I just would click Save GPS Position right there. Okay, so once I feel like I'm standing at what I want to be point number 4, then I go ahead, I can click that. If I think that its current location is the way it's stored is fine, I don't do that. But if I want to actually move it, which you can, then I will save it. And then all you do is you hit edit plot, whip out your looks like we lost lock at oh, what happened there? And open up that plot, and you are, and you whip out your prism, and you're ready to go with collecting the data. So I think the rest of it's pretty simple. I am more than happy to set up a couple of points on campus. If you would prefer to do a couple of test runs before you go out into the field, I can get that set up just as quick as could be next week, and then you could maybe spend an hour going out there and seeing how you collect the data onto Cruise Tally, how you download it when you get back. Okay. So anyway, give me just let me know, and we'll take it from there. All right. So best to y'all, and we'll see you in class.